That's where we're missing the opportunity, you guys. Okay.
I've said this before that our oldest leads are the shiny new leads in somebody else's CRM. That's the truth. And vice versa, a new lead in our CRM is somebody else's old ass 4-year lead. That's why I put such an emphasis on creating daily, weekly, and monthly users to continue to market them over a period of time. We know that real estate is the longest sales cycle in any other industry by far. So if we continue to do those little subtle taps on the shoulders through automation, text message, market watch reports, and position ourselves as a resource, then it's inevitable that we're going to start having these transactions.
Right.
Because I don't think one call a day, like Jarrett was telling me, and I agree with him. If we missed a, like say they didn't answer, it went into voicemail, you call twice, it goes into voicemail. We need to call 2 more times the same day until we get them for the next few days.
Right.
But
and so
I understand people are sleeping, they can't be working 24/7. So then that's where we can contribute. And
so here's
let me just say one more thing before we get started on that. But here's the thing. This is the opportunity I don't want to miss either. Is I just don't want to go after the low hanging fruit of the new deals, because then there's no attention to the bottom of the cookie jar as well. Okay. Because this is going to be, we're going to increase your skill set. That's
what I need is that part.
Yeah, this is going to be a skill set. So
I have a lot of list old buyers and stuff. I called and emailed 15 people yesterday, and 4 out of the 15 got back to me saying they're still looking.
Yeah. And so let's talk about that. What's the next step? How do you set up that meeting? How do you become what's your solution for that? We're still looking, right? So those are the things that we want to help you guys improve on. So with that being, go ahead, Jared.
Talking about those 10 or those 15 that you sent 4 replies, for me, I think that's a pretty good response rate personally. Now out of those 4 people that replied, said, I'm still looking. I have some go-to things that I would ask as a result of that. I'd be like, okay, no worries. Definitely, if you're like most of my clients, you're not in a rush to go out there and spend $800,000. Kind of a little joke, right? They're like, yeah, not in a rush to go out and spend $800,000. While you're looking, I have access to sold prices. I have access to area reports, school ratings, and a lot of other information. What area are you specifically looking in, or are you looking in multiple areas? So I would position myself by making kind of a joke, being like, yeah, no problem. Take your time, right? I'm not here to push you. I don't have commission breath. So very easy, opening up, take your time, no problem. By the way, here's some value that I can give you because I have access to this. You need to come to me to access this information or this perceived value. But also, here's a question. Trying to extract a little bit more, because questions provide answers, answers provide opportunities. What we're here to do is to give you guys the skill set on how to identify those opportunities, capitalize on those opportunities, and position yourself to have a value proposition or to become a resource. That's exactly it. So out of those replies, I guess I would ask, where did you go from there? Did you follow kind of that very simple template that I just gave? Was no problem. Take your time. Did you know I have access to? Go ahead.
I actually just asked them their criteria, what for, and honestly, I got all 4 of them personally on my auto emails sent out since last night. So they're on my auto emails that will go out every day on my ITSO.
Sweet. On your MLS as well. Sorry, on your Stratus or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't use the guys as CINC because I don't live in Toronto. I'm up in the Kawartha, Bancroft, Peterborough area.
Right.
So I worked with a big time girl last year, and we're not working together. And then I joined EXP, and then basically from there, I had tons and tons of buyers. So I just keep cold calling all the people that I had on my list before, and I've been doing that the last few days, and I've had really good success doing that.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. It sounds like you're on top of it. Sounds like you're making those follow-ups. The only thing that I would add to it is
I'm trying to be a better smooth talker. You know what I mean? I'm not the best at this.
Yeah.
Like, so smooth. Like, I listen to everything you say and it's great, but I'm like, okay. Like, sometimes like I think I could get more than 4 out of 15 if I could talk a little bit better and learn a little bit more of a skill to it. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. You know, it comes with practice. Sometimes we got to come back down to some of those fundamentals and foundations. Like I didn't learn how to speak real estate overnight. Like I literally would just practice and consume Craig Proctor and these millionaire GCI tables I was invited to. And I'm like, how do you guys say this shit? And it just became embedded into me. So it's like, it's almost like I'm robotic sometimes. I'm like, it just comes to me, but it's practice. But I'm also passionate and believe in coming from a place of value and trying to step out of me as a realtor and into the mindset of like, what would a buyer want? What would a buyer perceive that, what do I have to give them, right? I have information. I have access to this computer where I can save them time from going and doing all this research. In today's age, I'm sure that anybody can agree that the amount of resources we have at our fingertips is astronomical. It's huge. But how many people are actually resourceful? How many people are like, I have to Google that question? I would rather just go and ask my boss, or I'd rather go and do this. They want to take the easy route. So if we know that that's a human behavior, why not make us the easy route? Hey, rather than go and search for this shit on your own, I used to ask a question. So like, hey, let me ask you a question. So while you're doing all this information, are you only using the internet, or do you have somebody else helping you out with the process? And they're like, no, I'm only using the internet. So the word only entails that there might be some other way. So Gary, are you only looking for homes online? Yeah. Should I be doing something else? Yeah, you should. You should let me do your homework for you. That's what you should do. Right? Do you enjoy being on your phone, looking through hundreds of homes day in and day out? Or would you prefer if I did that for you and only sent you the ones that were very relevant to your exact situation and story? Actually, could you do that? That'd be helpful. Yeah, on top of that, I'll also send you some school ratings because I know it's important to your daughter that's going to be going into grade 8 next year. Whatever, right?
Yeah, absolutely. How many people here travel a lot? Okay. When you travel, do you book your own flights or do you use a travel agency?
I do it
Huh?
I do it myself because I'm cheap and I want to get the best deal.
Okay. All right. Well, sometimes it's not a good motivator, but most of the time people use travel agency because they don't want to shop around for the good deals. They don't want to go to every website. So convenience is just the way, our society is. And what Jared's saying is definitely just behavior in our society. If I could save you, not only, thousands of dollars, but also, find you the perfect price and the perfect home, that's definitely a value proposition, right? And so what Jared is doing when he took that over was, especially when he used the word access, that's value stacking. That is being a solution right now to someone. And I want you guys to take notes on that, because and I'm just going to jump in when Jared makes some valid points so you guys don't miss it. If you're not offering them a solution or a value, almost every part of your conversation, you're going to lose them. And that's so powerful, because Lauren knows this about me, is that on other calls, there's that questions create opportunity. If you're not asking questions, you're missing opportunity. So just like Jared said, and this is brilliant the way he phrased it, questions give you answers, and that intel, I call intel, he calls it answers. That intel gives you opportunities to come up with more solutions, to create more value. Okay. So the best thing you can do is ask the right questions in the right order. And that's what you're going to learn from Jared as well. So go ahead, Jared. Go ahead. Continue.
Yeah, it's funny because I just read this little snippet of a book today. I do about half an hour on my in the mornings, and it said, "Judge a man not by the answers he gives, but on the questions he asks," which I found interesting. But yeah, on top of what he said about the travel agency. Now, what if that travel agency was willing to do all that work for free? that's what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
Like we're doing all the work for free up front in hopes of generating that gross commission income after the transaction. We are in a very strange occupation where we do all the work up front in hopes of getting paid later. Another way to position that is like, okay, you're just looking for information. That's great. I've got loads of information I can send you. Tell me a little bit more, make sure that I send you all of that relevant information. But like, Amal, like while you're gathering the info, like, are you planning on using a real estate agent to go and look at homes and to negotiate in your best interest when the time is right for you? Do you plan on using a real estate agent? Yeah, probably. Well, good, because you're probably not going to be able to get in to see those homes without it. Now, if you're planning on using a real estate agent, don't you think it's important to start interviewing those real estate agents right now? Because I'd love to apply for the job. And
I love that. It's super aggressive.
Every single time they laugh because I'm on the phone with them. I'm already kind of using my gift of the gab, positioning myself, willing to do some homework for them. Like, listen, why are you doing all that? Let me do it for you, right? Now, before I start doing all of this work for you, do you plan on using a real estate agent to purchase your home? Is that something? Yeah, I guess so. Cool. Can I apply for the job, please? they're like, yeah, I guess so. Or if they're like, actually, no, I'm going to use my second cousin's brother's nephew. You're like, okay, well, call them and get them to do all that other shit that I was talking about. See ya, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But either way, right? Why not ask for the job? Ask for the business in return for you doing all the work for them. Why not?
Yeah.
So let's go over. I know, Jennifer, you wanted to kind of go some scripts and role play. Is there anything specific that you guys are facing right now? Like, our team, the ISAs, we're getting, pretty typical common daily objections. Obviously before the holidays were, we want to wait or, call us back after holidays. So they were hearing a lot of that. So that's going to change now, obviously. So what are you guys hearing and what do you guys need help with? Is it the buyer presentation? Is it the express offers? Is it the listing presentations? What is it that you guys need help with so we can focus on that?
Can I quickly share something, Gary, before we jump into that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I was talking, Jarrett was like, okay, this person's being asked, looking a lot, they're active. So I called and obviously voicemail, and he's like, nudge them, send them a text. So is this Jenny? And I went in straight into her WhatsApp instead of texting her. So now she could see who it is. And she's like, yes, it is. Who is this? And I said, hi, it's Amal. You signed up on our website and I'm so super excited to help you. So how's the search going? And I was like, damn, and she started, and we went back and forth. Turns out she's waiting for a year. She's a skier. So she's looking into specific areas. And then I said, she was not now. First, she started saying, I'm browsing, not now. And I said, hey, we have off-market properties. Would you like that? And then I left it. And she came back again. Oh, yeah, that would be nice. And I said, okay, so tell me, what's your budget? And then it kind of rolled from there. She's a nurturer, but still, I did get a reaction from that. And that was great. So I'm probably going to do that. Although you still have to go back and then put in the notes on sync to, update that and remind yourself, because if you put everybody on your phone, then that's not very effective either, right? Because then you'll forget.
Right.
I just wanted to share that.
Yeah. So what else could you do at that point to even push the conversation? I mean, so did you find out like she wants to wait in a year? What does she need? What needs to happen in a year? Like what's
so her son and her are living together right now, and he needs to graduate or something. Then he's going to take over this condo, and then she's going to be ready to then move on.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I don't know what happened, Jarrett. I don't know if he lost connection or what, but okay. No, thanks for sharing that. I tell this to the team too, with Ann and Sarah. I mean, well, Sarah too, but Alicia, that we need to do things differently and more intentional and on a higher level. So what do I mean by that? It's like, like in that situation, I've always, you always hear me say, how are you going to maximize that current opportunity in the now? Like, are you doing everything possible to maximize that opportunity? And it could be the littlest thing, right? So this is a mindset shift, where before, it may be, text messaging, or whatever. Now you got this intel. Now you take that intel and you turn it to opportunity. How do you turn it to opportunity? Send a customized video. Hey, Amal, I just got the phone with you. I was just thinking about you. So I wanted to create this quick video. Here's what's going on, right? Here's my values that I'm offering you, right? So, along with this role play and stuff like that, it's also other things that add on to that, the compound effect. And when you guys develop that habit, because right now, I guarantee you that most of us are taking shortcuts in everything that we do because we're real estate agents, we're entrepreneurs. So we're smart. Here's what smart people do. They figure out shortcuts, right? Would you guys agree? They figure out shortcuts. Shortcuts don't always work. Basic fundamentals, just like Jared said earlier, basic fundamentals, the reason why people say we got to go back to basic fundamentals is because the more advanced we get, we start taking shortcuts. We don't look back on those basic fundamentals. We start figuring out other ways to get around calling people because we don't like cold calling. So let me get good at social media so I can have people call me. Let me try to figure out how people are going to call me because I don't want to call other people. That's why everybody did really well when the market was good, because people were calling you. Hey, Amal. Hey, Ricky. Hey, Suhant. Hey, Lauren. Hey, I got a deal for you. Guess what? Those days are over, right? So no more shortcuts.
We as human beings, we inherently want to always look for the path of least resistance. Inherently, we're by nature lazy people. We want to do the easiest thing possible with the least amount of resistance and work necessary. But it's what differentiates the successful from the non-successful is the successful people are still willing to do the hard shit, the shit that nobody else wants to do, get into the trenches and make the phone calls day in and day out because they know that moves the needle more than anything else. It's not a magic subject line that's going to get 98% open rate and everybody's going to jump and send you a message back. It doesn't exist. There's no silver bullet that's going to impact or change the way that you do your business more than making phone calls and having conversations with people. There's no way to avoid it. Yeah. Keep looking for it. And if you find it, let me know. I've been looking for it for 8 years.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. So to go back to the first questions I was asking you guys, what are you going to do differently this year? I want you to be very specific, and it shouldn't just be one thing. It should be a list of things, right? Because this is what's going to be a game changer, right? How do you increase? Because there's so many parts of the process of the conversion cycle that we can improve on, from the touches, from how you're touching, to your content, to your context, right? And so what are you going to improve on that? Meaning, are you going to take the time to do one-off text messages or one-off videos to your top clients, your hot clients? Are you going to say, I'm too busy for that? Are you going to do some handwritten, postcards or thank you cards or whatever? Are you too busy for that? Are you going to, there's a lot of things that we skip the process because it's like Jared said, it's too tedious. And we always try to, we go to the path of the least resistance, right? That's just human nature. So I want to, let me back up. I've taken a lot of brand new agents and turned them into agents where they're doing 48, 50, 55 deals a year. And I can tell you now, the struggle is real. Okay. I could name a person, her name is Kim, and she did not want to do the activities that I was saying. You need to do these activities and you need to have a script. Otherwise, you are not going to get there. And she was like, I hate scripts. I don't like scripts. So she was like, no. Eventually, she started listening to me. She started role playing every day. She got into scripts. She started doing pre-listing packages. She started taking all these extra steps. So her first year in real estate, she started out slow, but then she ended doing 36 deals. Her first year in real estate. Okay. That's because she did shit that she didn't want to do. And she was coachable and she did it. And then she got results. The next year, she compounded that because I instructed her about the SOI, rating the fans. How do you compound that? How do you ask for referrals? Oh, I don't feel comfortable asking for referrals because blah, 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 blah. She was making excuses. I said, girl, you need to trust me by now because it worked. What I was telling you before, you need to do this. Start asking for referrals. Who do you know? And then go from, well, what about in your church? What about at your workplace? You know, what about your family? Because that triggers, you know, the memory. Oh, I don't feel comfortable doing that, being that, you know, aggressive. You got to listen to me, right? She started doing it. She started doing 48, 50 deals a year. Okay. It can be done, you guys, but you have to put in the work. And the work just doesn't mean learning scripts. The work means the whole package from beginning to end. That's why you guys create a journey for your buyers and sellers. It's just not a one-time event. It's a whole process. Okay, so do things differently. All right. And what Jared, the information he's giving you is good on the scripts, but also we got to improve on those touch points. Right. How are you going to make yourself different from the rest of the agents that are out there? Right. And in your mind, you're thinking, oh, that's too much work. I don't want to do that. I don't have time. I'm busy. Really? Are you? Ask yourself, are you? Probably not. But this year we will be. There's a difference between busy, and you guys heard this before. I'm not telling you anything you guys haven't heard before. There's a difference between busy and productive. When you guys get busy, that's not generating money. You're just busy. If you're productive, now you're seeing some results. Now you're seeing some ROI. When you start being productive, that's when you can start affording to get a VA. That's when you can start affording to get an ISA. That's when you can afford to start doing other things to start investing in your business. But it starts with you guys. And today I'm proud of you because you guys showed up. That's the first step. Now every step we make is going to increase you guys' business. And I tell you what, you know, I have a lot of strengths, but, you know, we're blessed to have Jared here because Jared is good at scripts too. I'm good at scripts, but so is Jared. But, you know, Jared's been spending a lot of time in sync. You know, where my strength, you know, I have buyers and sellers knowledge and indicators. I can handle a buyer seller on my own. My expertise is probably going to be more on the agent attraction side. But Jared is a master of buyers and sellers. So you guys are going to learn a lot. Go ahead, Jen.
Okay, so can we get back to the situation thing? Because I have an appointment tomorrow at 11 and I would like a little bit of help if that's possible.
Let's go. Thanks for putting, because I could talk and look in Jared. So thanks for keeping us on task.
Okay,
Like,
so I
bro, can you shut the fuck up? Can we continue on? Yes, we can.
I'm like, okay, well, I just want to get this in.
Yeah. It's all good.
Okay, so I originally had a house listed last month. I got this lady, she came and her husband to look at, but it was by the highways. Long story short. So I showed them a couple homes. She told me she wanted to list her house on her own. I talked them into letting them like consider listing with me. So now I showed them a few houses and they found one that they really like and they want to put an offer in pending the sale of their house. So then last night we were talking again, and then I finally got her to agree for me to make an appointment to come see the place tomorrow. It's a waterfront property, acres. It's actually really decent. And I kind of just want to know how to seal the deal. They're pretty open to me. Like at first she didn't want to, but I've met with them probably 4 or 5 times now. So I just kind of want to know how to seal the deal. Because then last night she's like, oh, well, if we do sell, we can't sell till spring because our boat's down at the shed and we can't get it out because of all the snow, and just like little things, because I can tell they're a little scared, but they really want to move and they really like the place I showed them 2 days ago.
I'm all good.
Jared, you want to go first, or should I just share my little story?
I'll throw something real quick in there.
Yeah.
I think that sometimes the best way to get people to sell their home is to get them interested in buying a new one. So I think you nailed it with people that are sitting on the fence. Oh, I should wait till spring. Like, okay, we can wait till spring, but why don't we go look at some homes right now? And what happens is they're like, I really love this home. Guess what? Now they want to sell their house. So well done. Well done. That's what I would have said for you to start off is you've already got them interested in a new home. So you use that as leverage, and the FOMO, the fear of missing out on this home, can be leveraged in them getting to take action and start doing those necessary steps right now and not waiting for the market. Now, if they're okay with losing this home, then you don't have the leverage to get them to take action. But if they don't want to lose the home, you have the answer to your question.
Okay.
Yeah, and just real quick, and if they do lose the home, it creates a pain point. All this happened to us once, so now they're motivated to sell their home, right? So Jared is absolutely right. You know, it's going to work out now, and it's also going to work out if they lose the house, because it's going to create an actual pain point. Sometimes you got to let, you know, the prospects go through certain things so they realize that, hey, I wasn't bullshitting you. Now they trust you, right? So anyway, go ahead, Amal.
Okay.
My question to you is, have they already hired you?
No.
So is your question, you want them to sign the listing agreement with you, so you know you're okay, you have the deal, or you want to get them to list ASAP? Which is it?
Yeah, I haven't had them sign any paperwork with me, but I have met with them, and they've both said to me, like, verbally, that they would, like, if when they do list, they agree to list with me. But then last time I met her, she's like, oh, we're friends with this, and I know this, and it's another local realtor. So now I'm like, oh God, okay, I kind of want to get something in writing tomorrow when I go, so then I know it wasn't all wasted time the last 2 months with them. You know what I mean?
So
yeah, you need to get that done. But also, if they're not ready to list or they're dilly-dallying, you need to talk about the market and how we're going downwards now. And, you know, for each day that they're wasting, we're going to lose money, right? So you're going to sell it anyway, regardless.
Yeah.
Then why are you waiting to lose value on your property when you already know you're buying this one?
Okay.
Yeah, and so
the numbers, right? Again,
stats are very important, right? You got to support that with stats. So I would just do some, you know, some comps and stuff to see what they sold for. Hey, this house was on the market X amount of days and it sold for under listing price. You know, so Amal's exactly right. You know, create that sense of urgency. So Harley, you had a question or you had a comment?
Yeah, I'd just like to add on it. What Amal was saying, actually, she's right on the point. Houses are decreasing in price. But Jen, question for you. The house that they're interested in, does it have an offer date? How long has it been sitting on the market?
On the market for 28 days, and I'm good friends
That's
with
perfect.
and I actually spoke to her yesterday, and I said, would your sellers be open to a purchase agreement pending they sell their property? And then she said, well, what's the property worth? And I said, it's on waterfront. I'm going to see it tomorrow. She's like, cool, keep me posted.
Okay, so that's perfect. There's no other better market. 2 years ago, a year ago, if anyone told me as a listing agent that they want to put that condition, I would have laughed in their face, right? So this is a great market to test that condition on condition. And you just have to tell them exactly what you said. Like, they want to make sure that their property sells before removing this condition. What I would do is set up the closing date as far as possible, maybe 60, 90 days, put that condition in. And then what you can do is actually speak to a broker and see if you can get a bridge loan for the remainder of that month or that 2 extra months that they have before selling the property, right? Once you sold the property and you have it firm. That's all in the understanding of what exactly Amal said. If you have a signed contract, so you don't volunteer this information. This information is only based on experience that Jarrett, Amal, or me have. If we've had listings, we don't want to lose the deal, but we'll get a broker or even their bank to give them a bridge loan. In hindsight, it's actually way better. Bridge loan are probably what, $2,000-$3,000 a month, but it's much less than the value that will decrease on their property if they wait till springtime.
Okay.
I'm just going to be, I'm going to be a little bit of a devil's advocate here, not devil's advocate necessarily, but situational. So there's some key information that we're missing here. Are they a move up buyer or a move down buyer, or all levels, just relocation? I guess
they have a set budget. They want to sell their place and pay with cash. So they're looking around the 350 range, but their house is probably, I've seen lots of pictures. It's probably in the high 500s. So basically just buy something outright and then basically just have the rest of the money to sit on because they're older and want to retire type of thing.
The reason I asked that question is because if somebody is looking to sell a condo for 350 and now in a position to buy a property at 1.1 million, and you're telling them that property values are decreasing, which is why we should sell now, they're going to say, well, if 1.1 is decreasing and my 350 is decreasing, shouldn't I wait to buy the 1.1 if they're decreasing? Ah, shit. I just shot
But that
myself
can get sold, Jarrett.
right?
Somebody
So-
else can come and scoop that up while you're waiting for it to go down.
So if you're like, okay, properties are decreasing by 20%, 20% on 1.1 is a lot more than 20% on 350. So just
Then
be
apply that for
careful
the property.
about that as well, if they're move up or move down, because they might call you out on that and say, well, if properties are decreasing by 20%, shouldn't I wait? And then you're like, well, no, because now this home, you really like it. You're kind of backpedaling a little bit.
Yeah.
So just be aware of that. If they're a move up buyer substantially or move down buyer, if it's 800 and 800, it doesn't matter. 20% is 20% of 800 any way you cut it.
Yeah.
But again, back towards like adding the value is or getting them to create a sense of urgency is, yeah, you know what, like this is a perfect home. It's great. To miss out on this opportunity would be unfortunate. I understand that you want your home looking the absolute best. And I agree that it probably would look the best when you have a full blossoming garden, you have your boat out there. However, all of the other properties that are going to be coming on market are also going to be looking their best, and they're going to be competing. And when there's more properties and more inventory in a competing market, that can also drive down the price as well, because those buyers have more inventory to choose from. So by getting in now and listing your home faster, you can beat out a lot of that other competition and sometimes get a higher price for your property.
Yeah. Go ahead, Lauren.
All right, so I just wanted to add a few things in there. Because their house is higher valued than what they're looking to purchase, then it's the opposite of what Jarrett said, right? So the longer they wait, if the properties are decreasing by 10%, 20%, they're losing more than what they'd be gaining on the property that they're purchasing.
It works to your advantage. Yeah,
That's
it works
right.
to your advantage. Yeah.
But I would bring that up later. First, I would ask them, because they're hesitant to sell right now. They have, what about the boat? What about this? What about that? Say, you know, what if we could take care of all of that? If I could handle all of that and there are no problems in the way, and we could find a buyer to get you the exact price that you're looking for right now, would you be willing to sell? If we can get you exactly what you want, and that allows you to get the property that you're looking for.
Oh.
They'll probably say yes. Or
Okay.
you'll get more of the objections of other reasons that are standing in the way.
Yeah, so I just want to summarize a couple things real quick. There's a due process, and I think somebody was going to mention this. You know, you got to make sure that you give and take. When you were building relationships, we can't give because we just open ourselves up and we're really vulnerable. So I agree with, hey, there's some solutions that I can do for you immediately. However, I need you to opt in. I need you to sign a buyer agency agreement, right? Or a listing agreement, right? So you guys don't go into something like this, especially this complex, and just give, and with no commitment. And the next thing you know, she's using another agent and using your strategies, right?
I've made the mistake before. Yeah.
So make sure there's a due process that you give a little. Hey, I have some other solutions that I've tried before. They work in your scenario. However, I need a commitment from you. I'm committed to help you and implement all these strategies and those things that you're telling me about the boat and all this stuff. That's something we could take care of. That's, to me, that's the easy stuff, but the hard stuff, I got you. But hey, we need this buyer agency agreement signed, or hey, we need those listing agreements signed, or hey, we need them both signed. Right. Yeah. So
not to mention when they're talking about this other real estate agent that they're friends with, you can be like, okay, well, like, first of all, you showed them the property. If they decide to buy this property with you and it's conditional upon the sale of the home, don't you think it's in their vested best interest to use the same real estate agent that has this under contract that can control the sale of the home? Why would they want to differ from that situation and make it more difficult?
Yeah.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Yep.
One more thing I wanted to add in there. This is coming from Mike Gerbic. So if you are coming up against them wanting to sell it themselves, because they mentioned that before, and this is, you know, down the road, this isn't something you throw out right away. If that's the only thing that they're waiting for is, we're thinking about doing it ourselves, we're just not sure, then you can say, you know what, how about we do this? Why don't you list the property with me, and we go ahead and we do everything that we need to do. But if you find the buyer while the property is listed, you're able to go ahead and sell the property yourself 100% free. Because the chances that that's actually going to happen are pretty damn low.
Yeah, that's actually good.
But, you know, there's a chance that it could happen, but it really comes down to how confident are you in your ability to sell the property. And generally speaking, you know, you're going to get much more exposure than they will. And if they realize that you're marketing it, you're selling it, all these people are coming through you, the likelihood that that's going to happen is pretty nil. So that's, again, a last resort type of thing, where if that's the last thing that's standing in the way of you getting it signed, that's something you can put on the table.
Okay.
I want to
So-
share something. I just want to say that this is a little bit, but I did it one day and actually worked.
Okay.
I swear, I did it. I was like, Greg. So I go into this listing appointment. That was an online lead. And she said, I just want to know the value. I'm just looking. I was fast. You called me, blah, blah, blah. And then turns out that they wanted to sell their property, buy one, but they had a realtor friend. And I said, hey, would you like to have a second opinion at no obligation? I mean, why would you say no? And she's like, yeah, no problem. 2 hours later, I was at the house. After showing the property, and I brought my laptop and everything to show them, you know, what's out there to entice them to, you know, hire me. She says, oh yeah, my realtor friend actually works for your brokerage. And it was another brokerage. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So how about, and I continued talking, and then turned out this realtor friend lived with them downstairs in the basement. And as soon as they told me that, Gary, I was like, me and my time. And then I said, no, wait a minute. I'm gonna have fun with this. Let's see if I can actually get them to sign today, because I'm not getting this anyway, so let's play. And I said, so is there anything else other than the fact that your realtor friend lives with you? Is there anything else stopping you today from signing this? No, but we're waiting for, you know, we're just gonna, is there anything else? And whatever objection, Jennifer, they had, Jarrett, even, oh my God, I just kept saying that. So is there anything else other than whatever they said that would stop you from signing with me today? And finally they said no. I said, okay, then let's get it done. And they signed. They actually signed. I left the property feeling like a little shark.
You know, in the process of
Then I got a call from my brokerage and the
That's
realtor a week later. I knew this was going to happen. They live together. It's going to be awkward for me. I was just having fun. So I told the realtor, listen, oh, you cornered them. I said, dude, you live with them. Why would they invite me over when you were out of town? And then actually sign the paperwork. So listen, I get you're awkward. I don't want to make this awkward for you. We can share this whole thing. I'll just have my sign out there. You do the work. 50-50, life is good. You know why I gave it away? Because I knew in the end, if the people are feeling so pressured by their friend, they'll come back and they'll want to work. And
Right.
I'm just saying that sometimes, Jennifer, you just gotta let go of your fears and just, is there anything else that's stopping you today from signing with me other than spring?
I like that.
Whatever.
Thank
Can
you,
I
Amal.
throw something out there to add on to what Amal said? So if in the end, yes, they have a friend in real estate and they feel obligated to use them for whatever reason, then ask them, are you choosing your friend because you have a personal obligation to them and you're afraid that they're going to miss out on making some money? Or do you feel that they're really the best person with the job with the most experience? You know, put that out there. And usually it's the personal obligation, whatever the case is. Well, wouldn't it be helpful to have a local expert on the ground that knows the stuff to make sure that you get exactly what you want and be able to satisfy your personal obligation? Well, what do you mean? Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we co-list the property? You'll get my experience and you'll be able to keep your relationship. Again, last resort, a way that you can go 50-50, but you're not losing everything. And
Everything.
Yeah.
Good idea.
So
Yeah, awesome.
that's one way to do it. I mean, I would start with a referral.
Okay.
Okay. They don't have to lift a finger. They're still getting paid. You keep your obligation to them as a personal friendship, and I'll take care of everything. Or if that's not good enough, why don't we do this? Why don't we co-list at 50-50? You get the benefit of both of our experience and effort, and we do it together. Two heads are always better than one, right?
Well, no, well, this is just my input, and then we got to wrap up the call. Are you trying to do your friend a favor, or are you trying to make the most amount of money? Mike Ferry all day. I use it every day. The best way to go. I don't believe in tiptoeing around that shit. It's like, hey, are you trying to do your friend a favor? Or are you trying to make the most amount of money? Period. What's more important to you? I get it. You're trying to, and if they say, well, I'd rather do my friend a favor, blah, 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 then that's when you can kind of retreat a little bit, or you keep pushing on it. But you always come out with, I am the person for this job. Right. So, so anyway, that's Mike Ferry. I think that's some scripts that implementing this, right?
If you're on the phone with somebody and they're like, oh, I have a friend that's a realtor, because if you're like, are you doing all the work by yourself, or somebody helping you out with the process? And they're like, I have a friend. I always joke, and I'm like, oh yeah, well shit. If you didn't have a friend that was a realtor, I would assume you didn't have any friends at all.
Right.
There's so many of us. So I say that, it breaks down the ice. And so I'm like, yeah, well shit, I get it. Like if you said you didn't have a friend that was a realtor, I'd assume you didn't have any friends at all. But in my experience, you know, what if something happens with that real estate transaction? Are you willing to sacrifice that friendship? Because not everything goes as planned in real estate.
Oh yeah, I normally say, oh, so let me ask you something. Would you be able to fire him if you needed to?
Right.
Right. Would you feel
You can
comfortable
fire me
firing your friend?
anytime. There's no personal feelings here.
I got a friend that's a real estate agent. So you got a friend. Cool.
Right. Cool, guys. Go ahead. Somebody's gonna say something. All right. Any other questions or anything? Hey, you guys. Again, I appreciate you guys showing up. This has been an awesome call. I like. Let's keep up this momentum. Let's make each call each Wednesday better than the previous Wednesday. You know, if we could keep that up, man, we're gonna be just beasts, right? So let's hold each other accountable. I love the collaboration. I think that's a piece that we missed in the past. I love the input. You know, this is what this meeting should look like. Everybody kind of getting involved, giving their perspectives, giving, you know, what's working, what's not working, best, you know, tips and practices. Learning from myself and learning from Jarrett. I want to get Lisha and Ann more involved too with what the climate is when they're on the phone with these guys. So, but I'm excited for this year. 2023 is going to be great. Have your business plans put together. Don't sandbag. Do not sandbag. I don't want to hear people say, yeah, my goal is to do one deal a month. That's fear talking. Let's be realistic. Okay. And if you're being realistic, every agent on this call with the resources that you have in front of you should be doing 2 to 3 deals a month, because you have the appointments, you have your own stuff. I mean, so don't come in with this one deal a month bullshit. You're sandbagging. Okay.
You sandbagging son of a bitch.
Yeah, that's right. So
I wanted to say something.
I love the role playing. I love having the 30 minutes there. When you guys are making the calls, there is a label on there that says coaching. If during your phone calls you have an objection or you have something that kind of stumps you, throw a coaching label on there. And then weekly, you can filter out by just hitting that label, and we can go one at a time. Oh yeah, Sandra, we were talking and she said this. And you didn't really know where to go from there. And we can role play real live based off of that week's interactions. If you guys have something that comes up on your table, we can role play it out.
What? I didn't get what you said. What do you mean coaching? Where does it come up?
There's a coaching label. So all of the labels, there's like 46 of them.
Okay.
on the prospect.
When you're, okay,
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Throw that label on there, and then you can just quickly filter it as a quick reminder. And then after we talk about it, take the label off.
Perfect.
Okay, now one more last thing. Is everybody on this call on WhatsApp?
Yes.
Okay, and everybody RSVP on the weekly calendar, so it's on their calendar.
It's
I don't
the
know
same link,
I
right?
have to do that. I saw your message on WhatsApp. I'll check that.
Okay,
I don't know that. I'll look.
so those are going to be the two important things, because let's keep this momentum going on a daily, weekly basis. Hey, this appointment, was great. Hey, I got questions, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's continue to collaborate and then make sure this is on your calendar for every week. Let's go, you guys. All right.
Okay.
All right. You guys
I
have
have-
a good week.
I have one lead experience to share. We'll do in our next call. And then I will love to see what else everybody has to say. When somebody's not interested to sign and they just want our complete information package on phone. So we'll catch up in the next call.
Okay. So write that down. Alicia, write that note down. So we'll address that next week. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.